In 2019, Red Dead Redemption 2 officially launched on PC. Rockstar Games believed they had finally built the perfect uncrackable game. The PC version needed a constant internet connection. If your Wi-Fi stopped for even a few seconds, the game would instantly freeze. With this system, Rockstars believed no one in the world could crack it. It lasted one day. Within roughly 24 hours of launch, a cracked version already appeared online. Years of development and millions of dollars all gone in just one day. So how does this even happen? How do people actually crack a game? Think of cracking like getting past the security guard at a club. To enter you need a VIP pass. So you either bring the real pass or you create a fake one that looks identical. In the early days of PC gaming, that VIP pass was a serial key. When you installed a game from a disc, it asked for a code imprinted on the box. The game didn't know who you were, it only checked if the code was correct. Then pirates started copying and sharing those codes online. One person bought the game and thousands played it for free. Companies lost millions, so they looked for a stronger protection. Their next idea, hiding the code in the game manual. During installation, the game would ask something like, enter the third code on page 12. The only way to know it was by owning the manual, which meant you had to buy the actual game from a store. It sounded smart, but hackers simply scanned the manual and uploaded it as a PDF. Problem solved. Then came the late 90s and early 2000s. CDs replaced floppy disks. Games started using CD systems. Now you had to keep the physical original CD inside the computer to play. Developers claimed this was impossible to break. But crackers found a simple trick. They edited a tiny part of the game's program so it stopped checking for the disc. The game believed that the CD was inside, even when the drive was empty. Now fast forward to modern times. Now we have advanced systems like Denuvo, which makes a game extremely difficult to crack. Nowadays we also have DRM programs, and those programs work like a security guard that doesn't just check you once. It keeps checking you again and again while you're inside the club. The game constantly checks online servers to confirm that you legally own it. But even DRMs get cracked. Here's how it usually starts. First, crackers get a clean copy of the game, so they just simply buy it because they need the original files. The most important file in the game is the X file. That's the file you always see when you open a game. Next, they study the file, and experienced hackers can immediately tell what type of protection the file has just by looking at its layout. Then they use a debugger tool. A debugger lets them watch the game's files while it runs. They can see what the game checks, when it checks it, and how it verifies ownership through platforms like Epic Games Launcher. Another tool they use is IDA Pro. And to understand this, you need to know how games are made. Developers write code in languages like C++. That code is easy for humans to read, but before a game's release, they turn it into a machine code which is meant for computers, not for people. IDA Pro helps turn that machine code back into something humans can understand. That way, crackers can simply find where the ownership check happens and remove it. But this is just the easy part. The real challenge begins with Denuvo. Unlike older systems, Denuvo protects the entire game. It adds fake code, extra checks and hidden traps. It only unlocks pieces at the exact moment they're needed. For example, when you rob a store in GTA 5, as soon as you walk into the store, it quickly unlocks just the code needed for triggering the alarm, spawning the police and starting the chase. And when the mission is over, that special mission code gets hidden again. At the same time, Denuvo watches the system. It looks for debugging tools, checks for anything suspicious, and if something seems wrong, the game may crash or behave strangely. So how do hackers fight this? They wait. Whenever Denuvo decrypts a small piece of code, crackers capture it and save it. But because the game only reveals tiny parts at a time, they must play through the entire game. Every mission, every ending, every cutscene and every side quest, just to collect all the pieces. And this can take weeks or even months. So after collecting everything, they completely rebuild the game. But here's where things get tricky. Because if they miss even one small code, the entire game might freeze or crash. So that's why these hackers work in groups. That way everyone has their own task. And funny enough, some of these skilled hackers later get hired by major companies. Their understanding of these systems and knowledge of these codes is sometimes even better than the teams who actually build them. Now let's be honest, piracy has kept many games relevant. For instance, Five Nights at Freddy's. Almost 80% of the people who play this game use the free pirated version instead of paying for the original one. But still, the cost of playing games is getting worse. Back in the day, you could share your game with a friend or play it at his house. But nowadays, everything is digital. But something that most people forget is that companies make mistakes. A forgotten debug message, a test server left online, a small file that wasn't properly protected. In systems with millions of lines of code, perfection is almost impossible. Almost every single new protection system claimed to be unbreakable, yet every single one of them has failed to this day. So what do you guys think? You might think that pirating a game for once won't hurt a multi-billion-dollar company. But at the end of the day, developers spend years creating something for us to enjoy. So I think they deserve our money for that. Because some of them created our childhood. Now, I want to thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in the next one.